Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing: single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss the fact that you can now find products like Booker's, which have been tough to score in recent years. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Tim Swaya, Luke Otero, and Lenny Eckstein.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so yeah, we're going to be talking about that. The fact that, Booker's is on the shelf again, pretty readily available. So if you're looking for that, you can score it. I also noticed that most places, too, are running it cheaper than they have in years past. It seems maybe it's just because it's out on the shelves, but I'm seeing it like $85, $86 somewhere in there, whereas there always 100 or 109 the past couple of years when you could find it. So that's an interesting aspect, too. We'll talk about all of that after the break. For right now, though, McNew said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, McNew?
Yeah, so earlier tonight, I live kind of next to like a park and it's a museum. There's a lot going on there. Like they really just celebrate the arts in this town. And I try to go because I like to celebrate the arts. I like seeing cool shit.
Sure.
Being talented. And tonight they had a big scare play. So I wanted to know, do you guys like go to your local theaters? And I don't mean movie theaters, but like plays. Do you like going to like plays? Like they're not going to be like the most talented or like well produced, but I think it's fun to like see people passionate about stuff. And I'm like, and they do them outside, so you get to like sit on the lawn on a blanket. You can bring snacks, you can bring drinks. Like I think that's fun. You guys do that?
I wish I could. I do have an appreciation of the arts, but not that sort of arts, unfortunately. So I don't go see plays and stuff like that. I think it's good for a community. I think it's part of a solid community to have some sort of place like that, but unfortunately, it's not for me. So I don't know why it doesn't quite hit the mark. But
Steve, when you said you wish you could, are you saying you wish you could say yes, but you just can't? Because
yeah, well, I like the idea of people making a living in the world of arts, whatever their art is, and I'd like to support them, but I don't find it interesting enough or compelling enough to go and sit through that stuff. So I can't do that. Now, I do like some artsy type of things that maybe a lot of people don't like. I like classical music and going to the symphony and stuff like that. And I go to a lot of those type of shows, but I have found that plays just aren't my thing. Neither are like musicals, like stuff that people are singing.
I did politely leave at intermission.
Oh, there you go.
But, like sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're just not. And I'm like, I want to like show up and whatever. Like I'll have a drink, I'll have a snack and like watch it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm bored. So I left. But I think it's cool that people do it.
Right.
Yeah. In Santa Fe, as everyone knows, it's an artsy fartsy type of town. And
right.
That type of stuff actually, Stephanie, goes on year round, whether it's in the park or in the playhouse. But I'm not one to really go to those. But we do the music on the plaza or at the opera, world famous opera house there. So and it's outdoor, and that's a really cool thing about that in Santa Fe. So, yeah.
Luke, is that the one that's way north of town?
Yeah. It seems like it's way north, Lenny, but it's actually probably a mile, 2 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's not too far. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually it's today, well, it's opening night. Tonight, whatever.
Yes.
Just yeah.
Well, the warden and my daughter's in town right now, and there's a playhouse connected to Webster University. Some people know Webster because they do online stuff, and but it is a regular university before it was ever any online thing. But they have a playhouse, and they're going 3 nights in a row to the opera. It's 3 different operas, but they also said that they were like the youngest people there. So
That was
it's old people that go to that stuff. Yeah.
Definitely the vibe. I was one of the younger people there, and it was like, what's I like, and also it kind of felt like, oh, your parents or grandparents are just coming to support you. Like it was such a small production where it's like, oh, your family's just coming, but like, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah,
it's a good way to make your new boyfriend jealous because all those other men are as well. You know?
I'm an older man with a bigger boat. That's my goal.
Yeah. Once you got the boat boyfriend, you're always looking for a bigger model. So
bigger boat,
older
bigger
man.
boat. Yeah.
At the Santa Fe Opera, it's very actually very fashionable to tailgate in the parking lot. I mean, you'll see people in tuxedos and
really.
They're grilling or doing something.
That sounds awesome.
It's such a Midwest thing, and with that there that sounds cool. Yeah.
Actually, I love that. They're like in ball gowns and tuxedos, grilling on a trumpet.
Oh, and then you'll see some very well-to-do women in just jogging suits with a fur coat. I mean, it's pretty eclectic and
sure.
It's really cool. I like it.
Well, if you've got a lot of money, you're eccentric. You know, you can do those type of things.
Care. You're just gonna do what you want.
You can do that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like if I showed up, they'd be like, "What the hell?
Who's this slouch?"
Yeah, exactly.
Can't dress up.
Right.
We don't play the Sasquatch.
We would all fit right in. Don't worry about it.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah, Tim, what about you, man?
So the general would pull me to plays once a year because she really enjoys them, and that's my nap time. So I pay a lot of money to take a nap, and I would hate them, and I'm like. But I appreciate the artwork. I appreciate the art that's going on either plays or musicals or this, that, and the other. And then of course, I had my when your kids are in it. I had my middle one ended up really thriving in the fine arts. He had a lead role in Sister Act. He was the bad guy in Sister Act, and then he was Sky Masterson in Guys and Dolls. And of course, I was engrossed in it. That I actually took the time to spend and watch and see all that stuff go. So I've always appreciated the folks that have the guts to go do some of that stuff. Yeah. And I found that the more time, if you look at, I'm more focused on the music. I like the music part of it. So I'm a whole live music fan. I'll do the live music all day long, but I try to tie that into it with everything going on with the singing. And I found a happy medium that actually have started to turn onto it a little bit. I've always been a fan of opera and classical music as well, because I appreciate the effort that goes into that and the mastery and the time of practice. You appreciate what's going on there. And it's not like 4 chords on a guitar or 3 chords on a guitar that's like 90% of the songs out there type of thing. They're really people that are talented. So I do get into it a little bit, and I would definitely produce some of that stuff. It'd be fun. Okay. I'd be involved in it, but I definitely wouldn't have larceny in my hands. I'd probably have hookers.
No. That's why I like that Edgar Allan Poe thing, because that was like the amount of You didn't like that, Tim?
No, we missed it. They were right here in town, and something came up the last second. I was going.
They're out and doing it again now, so you maybe want to.
I'm gonna catch that because I think that's great. That's awesome.
That was awesome.
I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go by myself," and I finally went. And they are like so into the Poe.
It's intense. It's intense. Yeah.
But like the cocktails are fun, and like realize it's like maybe like 5 to 10 people doing the whole thing.
Right.
Like they're making the cocktails, they're doing the show, they're doing the
setup. They're handing out the cocktails, they're doing everything.
Yeah, they're doing the cleanup afterwards. Like those are people that are
and they're driving in one car. I mean,
about what they're doing.
They're traveling show.
Yeah.
That tour schedule is insane. Like it was like St. Louis, Chicago, Indiana, God knows where else they went. Like that thing was insane. So I'm like, if you're not in love with what you're doing, there's no way you do that. So it
was cool. And I felt cultured after doing it because I felt like I sat through a play and I liked it. So, well.
Well, that reminds me, because that type of play, that type of company, so to speak,
Right.
reminds me like in Tombstone. It reminds me like everybody all gathers together at the hall, and the traveling company goes around. They perform all these different. It's like 3 people. They do the same. That I'm really interested in.
Yeah,
I get that. That's the type of stuff that's I hate to say it's a dying art, and if you could find your way to find a way to get involved in that, I was pissed I missed because I got home at like. We were gonna go at like the 6 o'clock show because the 8 o'clock show was sold out, and I got home from work at like 6. So I'm glad I didn't buy the tickets on that Friday night. But I didn't need to catch that one. That one's really
We'll check their schedule. They're out again. Yeah, they're making their way around. How about you, Lenny? What about you?
Well, I went to art school in Philadelphia, and the school owned a theater, and students could go to any show provided it wasn't already sold out for like $5.
Okay.
So that was always like, I'd go see almost anything. And sometimes I'd leave and sometimes I'd enjoy the whole thing. And I don't want to say I got my fill, but I'm kind of good now. But and where I live, in Buena Vista, there's certainly none of that. The closest thing we have is probably the drive-in movie theater. And
you saw the drive-in? Ours closed. I love drive-in.
I hate the drive-in movies.
Really? Why?
Because I'm not sitting in my fucking car for 2 hours watching a blurry screen.
You bring a truck.
It's like over 8,000 feet. It's freezing out, and I'm gonna fall asleep every time. It's not even dark out now. It starts. What time is it? It's 8:40 here. It doesn't start till 9:30. They're showing How to Train Your Dragon or whatever the fuck that movie is called.
Oh, you gotta go see that, Lenny.
Okay, so that's actually how, so before Indiana ruined itself with fucking daylight savings time, we used to get to start these at 8, and it was nice. So you'd have the kids movie, How to Train Your fucking Dragon, and then you'd have an adult movie, a comedy or a horror movie afterwards.
And then a porn, the late night showing.
Throw them in the
11:30 late night show of Skin Flute,
Skin Flute. I think it was Skin Flute too, actually.
Right. Off the rails. No, I love the drive-in. We had a drive-in when I was in high school. It was the most fun.
Well, McNew, you should drive out here, and you would enjoy the hell out of this drive-in.
There you go.
But no, I don't have time, man. Whether it's like that, I don't know. There's too many things I love to do, and theater isn't one of them.
Okay. That's too bad. That's just too bad. It doesn't support the arts. Doesn't support the arts.
In all honesty, every year we go to one performance at the Santa Fe Opera. And, I'm 84 years old. I can't make it through the first act. So,
I'm with you. It's nap time.
Yeah. We're out. We're gone.
That's too bad.
My next classical show, and Steve, you're going to really appreciate this.
Okay.
It's the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins playing Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness at the Chicago Lyric Opera House.
Nice.
I am so stoked. It's a Friday after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Cool. You don't find Billy Corgan a little pretentious?
Very much so.
Steve, I find you
that was a goddamn great album.
Like, that's too bad. That's too bad that you guys don't like to go to the opera. Billy Corgan. The bottom of the line pretension when it comes to that.
No,
get out of here.
I hate it too, but it's too bad you guys don't like it.
Yeah, interesting. All right. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? I'll go first. Bourbon Deluxe.
Very nice.
First
batch or second batch?
This is second batch. Second batch.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. Hardly anything. That was just sad. That just sounds like sadness. Yeah. I feel bad about that. I feel like I let the listeners down. That's what hurts so much.
Turner Wathen let you down. Jordan Morris let you down.
That's the people that did it. All right. McNew, go ahead.
Keeping with the arts, I'm going to go with the dark arts pick from the ABV Barrel Shop.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. There's our lead. There's our lead. Luke, what do you got?
I'm going to the next bottle, Jack Daniel's 12 years.
Okay. No.
Jeez, they're horrible.
No, nothing there.
God, I got a chance.
Nothing there. Lenny's next.
Yeah, I've got some Rolling Fork rum to see if I can get some redemption for those guys. This is their Wayward Cask. I can't read the language below it, but
Okay.
whatever.
It's old age there. There's the lead. Look at Lenny.
Lead.
Look at Lenny.
That's all turned.
Clean, stuck the landing.
Stuck the landing. Yep. All right, Tim, here's where we're at. Lenny has the lead, but you have yet to go. What do you got?
I've got a bottle of, I'm still working on this thing forever. This is a Knob Creek single barrel rye from our friends at the Old Hickory Whiskey Bar in
that's a 2020
Pensacola,
release.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slap a set. That came through. Oh my God, no.
Nothing there. Nothing.
Nothing.
Cheers to Lenny.
Lenny, geez.
Cheers to Rolling Fork. This shit smells
That's
delicious.
right. Congrats, Lenny.
All right.
Oh, this JD 12 is good.
Okay. The 12 is good.
Pork pop sucks, though.
Yeah, it does.
Very nice. All right, what we'll do next, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Booker's on the shelves in a liquor store near you. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
This is New Guy. To set the record straight, all my cookies are made from scratch, not slice and bake. And you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about how Booker's is findable again.
Yes, yeah, you can find Booker's out there. What do you guys think about that?
It's
Things
exciting.
are starting to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's part of the surplus that's out there, and there a lot of bourbons are getting out on the shelves and into the market, and I think it's a good time once again for bourbon buyers.
I do too. So it's a good time to be a bourbon fan. So yeah. I mean, if you like different offerings and being able to find things, so we're finally going to be to that point. And I do believe, like when Heaven Hill says, don't pay secondary for Old Fitz, the new Bottle and Bond one, the 7-year. It'll be out there, and there's people still going crazy over it. I believe that'll be on the shelves. I believe it takes a while to get caught up, but it'll be out there, and I think that's exciting too. A new product coming out that everybody's coveting, and that'll be findable. So that's cool.
Luke, from your perspective, from a distributor, you're not getting any pressure from anybody. The orders are just coming in now, right? Things are just coming in, and
Yeah,
there's a better flow of things. You're not begging for stuff anymore.
Well, I think the market has corrected itself, and it's still in a correcting.
Finding itself.
Yeah, it's still correcting to a degree, but as far as bourbon goes, I think it is just more focused now for the people who love it initially, and we're going to stick with it. They're not going to go anywhere else, Tim. And then the others that are still trying to find a way, like Steve just said, there's such a variety on the shelves now. Yeah, and the good ones, from craft to are they've weathered the storm, and that's a good thing. And I for one, being a lover of bourbon like that, but as a supporter of craft, I'm really happy for them, because they have the wherewithal to just continue and be long term as long as they want to be.
Right. Yeah.
What about you? The emerging growth stage. They're into that, getting close to that maturity, which is good. I mean, I was laughing at it because you look at, Lenny, you've been around for how long? I was at an event with Peerless last night. Peerless has been open for 10 years now. You got a lot of people with double digits now that have been out there for a while that are really hitting. I would say, arguably, they're just hitting their stride, because people are just starting to figure out about them, which is great. And I think this, with Booker's being out there, to bring it back on topic, I stopped buying this stuff because I'm not chasing for it anymore. I don't need to. There's a lot of great whiskey out there that I can get my access to that I don't have to chase anymore. And now that stuff's back out again, I may dabble into some of the liquor stores again. And I think the liquor store owners are going to be appreciative about that too as well, because they're going to see patrons coming back like, where have you been? I said, well, because the market was nuts, and I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm going to vote with my pocketbook and as a consumer and go where I think the best whiskey's at, and it's not on your shelves.
But more importantly, to add to that, is the price has come down.
It has, yeah.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's that's a great marketing move by them. Because Buffalo Trace raised their prices recently in the last 3-4 months.
Yeah.
That's a nice move of the power of the guerrillas battling each other, trying to figure out how to sell it and where we're going to get margin squeeze and where can we tolerate it, because I think that's a good play by them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what we're seeing is that the craft distillers, they're not being squeezed out. They have found their niche, and if anything, we see is that they're growing incrementally. I don't know, Lenny, if that's your case, but I would hope so.
Yeah, uniquely, I think Colorado's had its own challenges. Luke, I'm sure you're aware of how things changed on the legislative front, but. All that being said, I think there's some headwinds in general, but I don't know. This kind of goes in a weird direction. Deer Hammer, and I think a lot of craft distilleries, those that have stayed small, that allows you to weather bumps in the road. And those that have gone bigger, maybe they've gone big enough that they can also weather those bumps in the road. It's that middle ground that can be tricky sometimes. So we're all good. It's working out. And I think that, for me, with regards to Booker's, I don't have a hard line that I draw with how much I'll spend for a bottle, but I do typically like to stay below 100. Once it gets above 100, I'm like, okay, now I got to think twice. So I like prices coming down. I got to say, though, one thing that's kind of weird, and maybe I'll get past this, when I used to see a bottle of Booker's and maybe it was $120 on the shelf, I was like, well, shit, I haven't seen one of those in a while. And what I love about Booker's is that it's an evolving series. It's always something else, whether it's drastically different or subtly different. I always wanted to see what the next release tasted like.
Right.
If I saw one, I would grab it. Now I'm seeing them, so I am finding myself less likely to grab one. Furthermore, as I've, stated before, I'm on this kick of only buying, small independent brands for at least a year or longer. So I don't buy, as much as I love Booker's and everything that Beam puts out, I'm on the kick of supporting the small
Nothing
brands.
You can do. Yeah. You're beholden to your commitment.
Yep. Gotta have rules.
Not look at Booker's as Jim Beam and be like, that's Freddie. Freddie did that. Can you not?
Kind of, but also.
I'm trying to get you a loophole here because you want to buy the Booker's.
Yeah, no, I hear you, McNew. It's like I'll buy something for valid market research purposes that breaks my rule because I need to know what something tastes like
Sure.
for a product I'm working on. But that's here and there. It's just like I guess what I am starting to see, and I'm thankful for, is that people are starting to give a shit about what else is out there.
Right.
What other flavors are there? Because I think, whether it's the heritage brands that are experimenting, and Little Book's obviously a good experiment at that if we're going to talk about Beam, but the smaller brands are the ones that have really been able to push the bounds. And while they may not have had the marketing budget to convince everybody why they should try it, I think without doing that, those people are starting to look at wanting to try it because it differs from the 50 to 100 bottles they have on their shelves. So,
well, and especially when you've been drinking bourbon for a while, like you want to be like, I know what Heaven Hill tastes like. I know what Jim Beam does. I know what Wild Turkey does.
right.
I've never seen this brand before. That label looks fun. Let me try that. I'm already spending $70, $80, $100 today. Why not spend it on something new that I haven't experienced? So,
yeah, and at the risk of being a shill for myself, the single barrel that Steve and crew picked out, that's going to be a 4-grain high oak bourbon aged in heavy toast char too. What does that taste like? I know what it tastes like. I've been tasting it every fucking day. But most people have never had something like that. So
yeah, nobody knows. Yeah,
it's really fun to put stuff out there that people are like, what? That nobody else does that, or very few other people do that.
Because if you're really into drinking whiskey and whatever, you're just like, you know what? I know what all this is. Like, not to say we get bored, but it's like, I already know. Let me get this weird thing. Let me try this new thing.
Yeah.
I think, put your money there.
And what else is cool about, again, back to the subject, Booker's being more available? I do want people to try that. That is a phenomenal product as a baseline. Weller's great, but everybody was chasing that forever. I think there's other interesting things. And to me, Booker's an interesting one. I want people to have access to that.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel like the industry should get together and offer me $20 million and then just shut my store down? Because when someone walks in my door with an open mind, it's a point of no return. They won't go back. The people that come into my store and come in with an open mind and sit at the bar and then learn about all these craft brands and what they're doing, because we talk about why they're different, why it's going to taste not like your Blantons that you're used to drinking or whatever your brand is. It's going to taste different than that. And if you have an open mind to it, and you're only judging on your taste, you're going to like what we've got in that store better than what you've been chasing. And then get rid of the chase. And so many people that come in, we have people that only shop at our store because we are the only ones that have that sort of whiskey, the different things. We're always getting new ones in. We're always getting different profiles in. It's not the same old, same old. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity out there for people to view things. But at the same time, if you want to get a big national brand that has some differences and maybe is more akin to what they do on the craft side, Booker's is not a bad one, despite the fact it's from a huge company, because it's cast strength, it's single barrels. I mean, it's kind of what we do, really. And they're big, high proof ones. I think Booker's is a good American whiskey for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I love it.
Steve, I disagree on your valuation of the ABV Barrel Shop. I think it's actually north of 50. But that's well, that's a side topic that we'll have to sign NDAs on to discuss.
Right.
But I think, I keep on going back to price point. And I think what the last 4 years have done with everybody splurging on whiskey and getting access and chasing their board, that price point of what's a value whiskey, I think has moved up. Mm-hmm. I think $50 to $40 to $50 is, I would say, is more like a value whiskey.
You're right.
Now, 50 to 75 would be that's really something I want to track for. 75 to 100, somewhere, whatever that's, maybe it's 80 to 100, maybe it's 80 to 90. That's something that's really special. That's probably in a finish category that I understand why I'm paying a little bit extra, because they're doing more to it and it costs more, because I think there's more education out there in the consumer. But Lenny, you said it best. Anything over $100,
yes,
better be something
that really just makes you think about it, for sure. For sure.
Better be something really special now. But that $50 to $80 range man, you could drive a truck through, and there is great freaking whiskey at that price point. Well, what has that done? That's pulled people up from that $19 handle plastic bottle to that $50. That's a common. That's a $50 price point is, everything costs more. I don't know where everybody's means are at and everything. It's different. But if somebody wants to have something really special, that $50 price point is pretty damn good. And if I stretch for Booker's at $89.99 or something, it better knock my socks off. And that Booker's line tends to do that.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of misses. There's misses in there, of course. You can't be perfect every time. But that price point is, you're finding it at $89.99, man, if you're turning away on that one, on that release, whatever it is, or you understand the story behind it, man, that's a miss.
Yeah. If I would say, here's a funny thing, and it would happen in the life of the show. So we've been around since 2016 making these shows, and if you go early on, and we did shows like this early on, what's your everyday drinker, and what's the price of those? I bet you everyday drinker defined back then was $20 bourbons. It was those that would be what you classify as today. I think it would be $50. You get a $50 one, you'd be like, oh, that's my everyday drinker. It's a $50 bottle of whiskey. I was
gonna say that, like, when I first started, I'm like, okay, $20. What's $20? Who cares?
Right.
Now, like, it's been what, 9 years. I'm like, what's $50? Like, it is what.
$50 is everyday drinker. That's
I like Green River for this reason, because I like bringing it
on a boat.
$8.99. I'm like, you're under 50. I like it, and they're good. And I'm like, but now it's like 50 to 65, where I'm like, that's normal. Like, that's fine. Where I'm not even thinking about anything that's under that. Honestly, I'm like, if it's 20 or over, I'm like, I'm not a snob, but I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you?
Do you ever consider, like, a good bourbon though? The one that'll fit in the cup holder on your boyfriend's walker?
No.
Is it before or after tennis balls are added on the bottom? Because it does matter on the smoothness of the walker. You pick it up.
She's looking for the bottles that'll fit in the walker, so then when he's walking around, she's got the whiskey.
You gotta travel well.
This way, what bottle's gonna go in it?
The larceny bottle's not gonna fit well.
No, that's not a good walker bottle.
That's not fitting any cup holder. That doesn't even fit like in a cup holder.
Lenny, packaging for Deer Hammer. You got to have these thin bottles here like this.
I'll figure it out.
Thin bottles for packaging, Deer Hammer. Then they can fit on walkers.
Very nicely.
Walkers. That'll be out on a boat if you can do this right. But yeah, so Booker's is out there. Enjoy, folks. We're coming back to a time, and again, prices are coming down too. As we talk about, we're willing to spend more on our everyday drinkers. There's plenty of examples where, our friends in the craft business have been at this 10 years now, and their economies of scale have shifted, and they're doing some different things. They have inventory on hands. It's tough to say, okay, I've got 3 barrels of this to sell. What price should I sell it for? Well, you got to inflate it. Now that they've been around for 10 years, they've got a warehouse full of whiskey they can afford. I know that we're going to debut a new price on our Hidden Barn line at our 3-year anniversary festival that I think is going to make some eyes pop. It's going to really blow people's minds. So yeah, it's going to be cool.
Steve, you hit it. And age statements are back in vogue again, even though we've been told for the last 10 years not to worry about age statements. Yes. And now I hate saying craft because these are really mid-sized producers right now is really what it is. I'll stick with the craft because it's handcrafted, whatever. I know these people; they're more approachable. Like Lenny's been out here. I'm happy to absolutely know somebody who owns the business and runs it. But these craft people are mid-sized businesses that age statements. I got an 8-year whiskey. Fuck you. You want to talk about it? Let's go to bat. Let's go to bat and taste it. To your point, try before you buy at the barrel shop, and I'll show you something different. Open your eyes.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to be a very interesting time. Very interesting time for the consumers to watch this, and from the business side, watch how this dukes it out because it's going to be very fun to watch, and the products are only going to get better because that's the only way they compete is the top product.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I love it.
I agree. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Tim, we're going to start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can see me getting off my soapbox on Instagram. That's why I got 2112, and on YouTube at our flagship whiskey.
All right, Luke.
You can find me on LinkedIn and all Santa Fe Boutique Wines on Instagram.
All right, Lenny.
You can find me and the rest of Deer Hammer on social media at Deer Hammer, on the webs at deerhammer.com. You can come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado.
All right, McNew.
You can find me not dating senior citizens at
No walkers. Is walker out? If they're senior citizen without a walker, is that in?
Senior citizen anyway.
And a bigger boat. Senior citizen's 55 and older now, so that's in play.
Right.
I'm almost there.
You're almost there? Yeah. Well, it's July, so she's got another month and a half of the.
We'll see what happens with the 4th of July shot.
We'll see.
Right. All right. All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Also, come by and see me, the ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. It may just change your life. It has happened for many people that have come in there, and it could be you too. You could just love this place. We had a guy come in. He's a doctor from Mississippi, was in for a conference and stopped by, and he was like, this place is fantastic. And we kept having him try things. He'd never heard of any of this stuff. He'd try and be like, okay, I want a bottle of that. Yeah. Oh, that one's amazing. I've never had anything like that. I want a bottle of that. Everything he tried, he bought a bottle of. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. So I love seeing people, their reaction to the store when it's like that. It's really fun to be in business for sure.
Hey, you should buy like some suitcases to sell. So like people from out of town, you're like, you don't take carry on. You got to check this shit. Awesome. You need a suitcase.
Get one of those suitcases. Yep. Yep. McNew, anything else to say before we are out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Later. See you guys.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.